Everybody ready? Welcome. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome to the Huerfano County Board of County Commissioners meeting for May 28th. We are now in session. The first item for consideration is the agenda approval. Mr. Young.
Commissioner, no change to agenda today.
Motion to approve the agenda?
Second that.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier.
Yes.
Commissioner Bennett.
Yes.
Chairman Boucher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Consent agenda, Mr. Young.
On the agenda for today, I have the meeting minutes for May 14th and May 21st. I have a grant acceptance for the Colorado Justice Assistance Grant in the Sheriff's Department. I have a green sheet for election judges and hiring from clerk and recorder. And I have purchase order 254, CTS out of Norfolk Electrical.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Erica, how many election judges are you hiring?
A total of, well, new or returning. So
Total.
there's probably a total of about 24. Some are returning, some are just kind of backup,
And you have good representation from all political spectrum?
very bipartisan. Yes.
Very good. Thank you so much. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Bennett.
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier.
Yes.
Chairman Boucher.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Public comment. We have one.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Jim Littlefield. As you know, please state your name and address for the record.
Jim Littlefield, 58 Cedar Ridge, Pichara, Colorado. I refer you back to December 19th BOCC meeting, where you concluded going into executive session to consider legal ramifications to potentially moving the Cachara Mountain Park back over to the Cachara Foundation. During the winter, there were at least 2 votes that I know of. There was equivocation on whether it was to give the park back to Cachara Foundation or just to work on the language. It was published in the paper and laughingly stated here by one commissioner, well, you shouldn't believe everything you read in the paper, but it was front page and said, the Cachara Mountain Park going back to the Cachara Foundation, 2-to-1 vote. Here we are, 6 months later. I don't think $1 has come to the park this year. In fact, I looked at your budget. You zeroed out all parks and rec, one of only 2 departments that didn't get any money this year, as we have our economic woes in the county. So I would submit you're doing absolutely nothing for the park. Secondly, it's absolute obstructionism. Can't get on and do the work we want. You relented and said, okay, you can do a few things. It's just unconscionable to me the way you're delaying this. And I'd like to hear what it is that's holding all of this up.
Okay. Comments from the commissioners? Well, I will say, Jim, that from my perspective, and as you know, I will be resigning in another little over a month. So I'm not going to vote on something That's not coming for me, but I'm fine with, the park going back to the foundation. That's my opinion. I don't think it hurts Huerfano County. However, that said, I don't know, if there's a motion to do anything with it right at this point. So,
And I guess I would ask, why not? I understand your position and appreciate it, John. You've been supportive of this. You physically came up. We worked on putting disc golf in, new deck on the old building over the years, but there's been precious little, not singling you out personally. Don't see any visits. I just don't understand when somebody submits in the meeting that this is a horrible, 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 you use that term 3 times, decision. Why? What's so horrible about it? We just want to raise funds like we have. The Panadera Ski Corp and the Katara Foundation raised the initial $150,000 for the county to be able to purchase the park. Beyond that, we've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and put it into the park, every single penny. And here we are trying to get ready for next winter. Usually we have to do that work because of delays caused by decisions made here in the snow and ice, trying to get ready for ski season. We'd love to be able to do the work on the lift, get on with life through the summer months, but more importantly, go back to raising money. Public does not want to give money to Huerfano County unless it's in the form of taxation. And they dutifully pay their taxes, those that live here or have cabins here. They've given hundreds of thousands of dollars, even big names like the Cabots and Lewis Bacon Moore, 10,000 here, 5,000 there. That all stops with the county's masthead above it. We can get back with doing the right things. We just had a wonderful event Saturday, well attended. Nothing to do with the county. That's all dreamed up and supported by PSC. I just think you're dragging your feet, hoping that you can change things here and get the votes you need to keep it in county hands and continue doing nothing. And I think it's shameful, and it'll be brought up time and again between now and election time. We've got a chance to make a motion, get on with this, and let us get on with the good stuff we're doing for the county.
Jim, can you let us know who the president of the Kuchera Foundation is?
I'm sorry?
Who is the president of the Kuchera Foundation?
I believe the president currently is TR, is it not, Ken Pleasure? CF.
Yeah, Amanda Holden's sitting in right now.
Okay. Did you hear that?
So you have a sitting president, but you don't have she's just filling in for a vacant seat, is that correct? And you have a full board?
And they've attended these meetings previously and outlined for you their complete support. The folks that voted for that are still in there. Chris Smith has been here and spoken numerous times. Ready to get on with this.
Do they have a full and complete board?
I can't answer that.
They just said no.
They do. They have one vacancy.
Can you name the members of the board?
Amanda Holden, T.R. Beasley, Chris Smith, Mike Moore. There's one other, her name is Ashley. I can't.
Ashley, not Andrew, is it? Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, it's not an incomplete board. It's a majority. They haven't changed their views. Does that trouble you?
This just was a question, sir.
Okay. So, I heard your position, John. Carl?
Well, I thought there was still some legal questions that we were trying to get answered, and I don't remember getting those yet. So that was my hesitation.
So you've been through 2 lawyers, as I understand it. You had one in December. There's a different one now. What's the issue? Either you are or you aren't. Are we hiding behind the lawyers?
Just want to make sure everything was set in place.
Well, we've had our lawyers, I say the lawyers look at that, and frankly, they don't think it's your decision to make. the foundation retains, if you look at the language, the ability to have that park. You can't give it to anybody else. If anybody's in fishing for it, there'll probably be a freedom of information request for that kind of information. And I would hope that no commissioners interacting with those people without that being public information. I just think you're dawdling and asking for trouble. Let's get on with this. And what's your position? Does it remain no, 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 and horrible, horrible, horrible?
Absolutely.
Why?
I've gone over this, and I don't
No, you
think we
haven't.
really have time for this. So public comment is supposed to be limited to a matter of minutes, and I believe your time is up. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Keep stonewalling.
You're welcome.
We'll remember it.
Absolutely.
Since all the public signed up in person, is there anyone online that wishes to make public comment? Okay, moving on to appointments. Wildlife Canyon Co-op, Timothy O'Brien and Keith Simpson. Please state your name and addresses for the record.
I'm Timothy O'Brien, 7-4 and 7-5 County Road 360 in Levita.
And Keith Simpson, the residence here in Huerfano County is 7245 County Road 360.
Thank you.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
6 months ago, we had a meeting with you to discuss the transfer of county-owned land to the homeowners in Wahatoya. At that time, you requested that we keep you informed as to the development of a co-op, which could receive a deed from the county. I'm here to give you a report. Per your suggestion, we contacted a farmers co-op in Denver, Dan Hobbs, and that was a recommendation that you made. Quite fruitful. The co-op is more than willing to help us in the development of our co-op. That's their job. And they will provide administrative assistance, a legal review of our documents, a training of our board of directors, most anything that we need to get going. So I want to convey to you that we're in a good position now to form a co-op. We have a good bit of support from Dan Hobbs and his group. Right now, what we're waiting on is a formal approval from the BOCC before we can go to the next step. So that's part of why I'm here, not only to let you know our progress, but that we've done as much as we can do at this point until we have a written contract. When we met with you 6 months ago, you directed the former county attorney to draw up a written agreement. I understand we have a new county attorney. It has been 6 months, and I'm hoping that you will consider moving this in a direction where we can continue to develop our co-op.
Thank you very much.
Any questions for us?
So, another question just for commissioners. I did refer this about a month or so ago to Nathan. You guys, I'm assuming you guys have not heard from him.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that,
I'm
Carl.
assuming you guys have not heard from Nathan Schultz.
That we have not heard.
Attorney.
No, we haven't.
So during our staff meeting, we discussed real estate matters that are pending. This might be one of them. I thought that we took formal action last year, but perhaps we didn't. I'll do some research, and if needed, draw up that resolution. And hopefully that resolution might be enough to get started at the moment. And then, or we can get the ball rolling next.
Okay. That sounds like a step in the right direction, yes.
So from, I'm sorry, from from the Rocky Mountain Farmers Union, from Dan Hobbs, you said you needed the BOCC approval. Does that mean a BOCC commitment to transfer the property once the co-op is in place?
Correct. We need a commitment in writing.
So that comes in the form of resolution. So I thought we did one of those last year, but I'll double check, and if not, we'll move that along.
Okay. Any other questions for us? Pete, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, again, just to reiterate, we very much appreciate this opportunity. You know, the bulk of the folks in the canyon are interested in this ability to you know, have the ability to self-control the land around their cabins, and so we wish to move forward. And there's a great deal that's been done, and we feel very confident that once that's in position, other than the normal timeframes it takes to, there's legal matters and other procedural matters that have to take place, I think we can move forward very quickly and can close this matter to a resolution that's conducive to everyone. So, but thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you.
So no, I mean, this has no bearing on anything except my curiosity. So is your intent to try to make conforming parcels or to hold the property as a common area for all of the properties in there?
I would say right now that I can give you my personal opinion, but it needs to be decided by our board of directors, which has not been formed yet. So I can tell you what Keith and I have discussed. And that's that we would hold the bulk of the property, what's now the county-owned land, in common. Homeowners would have the ability in the pursuit of conformity to make adjustments to boundaries as they need for their properties. But we had discussed putting a limitation on how much any one homeowner could do. And so the bulk of the land would remain as common ground. That's my opinion. Keith, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, I don't think until there's an actual formal, there's been discussions about this, but since we haven't had the opportunity to present to anyone a formal process about what we're going to do, I think there's a lot of folks that are not ready to make certain commitments. But I think it's tend to the kid, there's people that would like to adjust the property boundaries. I think a lot of what they want to do is to allow things to operate pretty much as they are, which would also include, you know, access for folks that don't live there, because there is forest land all around. I think our proposal accounted for that in terms of several things that were in the proposal that we would commit to continue to allow for that. So I think the bulk of folks want to allow for things to keep it kind of as a quasi open space for everybody within the canyon to access. But there are folks, myself included, I'd probably like to adjust my boundaries a little bit, but we wanted to give everybody the opportunity to do that within the context of also fairness within neighbors. We don't want it to become a property boundary, digging up the old things and arguing through them. We would, intend to keep things fair between everybody and not harm anyone through any property adjustments. That would be another element I think that everybody would agree to for the most part. So, we want to move forward positively and use it as a way to sustain the canyon as it's been operating for decades, basically.
Thank you.
You bet.
Click to my head.
Just a point of clarification. Carl, will you contact me regarding a resolution, or how does this work?
Yeah, I'll send you guys an email.
Yes, you got my email.
With that resolution, once the commissioners approve it, or if I find the information from last year, remember, I'm not certain enough, I'll send that to you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you.
Thank you, guys. May 4th gravel social ride recap, Sarah Jardis.
Good morning, everybody. Sarah Jardis, address is 654 London County Road 3, Shelby. And I'm here representing the Huerfano Tourism Board.
Wanted to come and give you a follow-up report on the Gravel Adventure Field Guide social ride that happened on May 4th. And thank you, and thank Road and Bridge for helping us with that. You had heard from representatives of the Gravel Adventure Field Guide, which is the group with whom we contracted for the guides that were completed last year. They put on a social ride on May 4th, which is distinct from like a race or a competitive ride. It's just a open group start, but somewhat organized. And they did that in conjunction with Grassroots Gravel, which is another group out of Pueblo. Gravel Adventure Field Guide is out of Trinidad. So on May 4th, which if you recall was a little bit snowy and gray, they still had 56 registered riders, all of whom were in attendance. They ranged in age from 17 to 72 years old. They came from as far north as Centennial and points in between, including Pueblo regionally and also from Trinidad. We had a few overnight guests who stayed at Lathrop. They rode the route in the guide that's called I think the Legends of Grandoti, which goes from Walsenburg to Levita, and they did it as a loop out and back. And so we had at least 8 businesses, both in Walsenburg and Levita, who reported seeing cyclists and business visitation increase sales from a small group, but they're evident because they're cyclists, so you can tell who they are. Also following had some visitation afterwards that developed some more collaboration. The folks from Tarantula Cycles down in Trinidad spent some time with Aubrey at the Crafty Canary and came back and did a collaboration this weekend for Porch Fest. So evolved some work there. We heard nothing but positive comments and feedback from the cyclists, many who I was there for registration. Many who had said, well, I've been through the region but never stopped, or I've stopped, but I didn't know about these specific locations. So that was very positive. We heard positive feedback about the condition of the roads that they were on, and also very limited traffic, which of course makes those cyclists happy. And we, from the tourism board, felt like it was a really great match. It was a good scale of activity. It was an infill weekend, early season when weather can be iffy, and yet it had strong attendance. It was a good partnership with the contractors so that they could deliver on something they're expert in as opposed to us guessing. And it was the kind of marketing that we think really works well when it goes direct to an affinity group or a niche group and gets their interest and visitation here. So we want to thank you, and we want to thank Road and Bridge for making it possible, for the signage that showed event in progress. And also wanted to just draw your attention to, we recently put together a meeting with our lodging stakeholders and other partners in the community. We'll be reprising an abridged version of that at the Chamber of Commerce Mixer up in Cuchara this Thursday evening, which is 5 to 7. So we hope to see you all there, and you can hear a little bit more about what the board and our contractors are working on and accomplishing. So thanks. Any
Thank you.
questions?
What time was that again?
Thursday, Chamber Mixer is 5 to 7 at the Cuchara Mercantile. Thanks.
Great, thank
Thank you
you.
very much. Appreciate it.
Kuchar Mountain Park Maintenance, Clint Clayton. Kim Clayton. Sorry.
Ken Clayton, 711 Panadera Loop, representing Panadera Ski Club. Last time I was in here, we were talking about our agreement. Moving forward, there were some maintenance concerns, some concerns with the language in the agreement. And we spoke with Commissioner Andrietta about it the other night. We had an event over the weekend. We all got together and spoke. And I think rather than for me to sit here and describe the maintenance that's needed, which really it's not maintenance, it's repairs, it would be great to get a meeting up there at the park. We have no issues with maintaining a park, but some of the buildings are in such disrepair and you guys inherited them that way. I mean, it's not necessarily neglect, but we're at a point where something has to be done with some of these bigger buildings. So I'm here today for one, to see if we can set a meeting. I don't know who that's with, maybe your maintenance department, and get them up on the hill, and we can actually, come up with a plan to either not maintain them or repair them or whatever. But, we have a hard, we're afraid to sign an agreement with you guys with some of the issues that are up there. And that's really our only sticking point for that agreement. Additionally, I believe in our current agreement, we're required to give you guys 72 hours notice to work on the lift. No? Okay. Well, so I'll let you know that Gerald Lindsay with Alpine Roost is scheduled to be up the week of the 23rd of June. So we can start addressing the problems that were created last year with the damage to the gantry as you leave. So that's, don't have an exact date, but there'll be 3 days of work occurring then. We'll have the certified welder as required by the state, and then Alpine Roost, Gerald Lindsay as required by you guys. So I can, I'm going to send Carl an email outlining those dates, so you'll have it. But we would really like to meet you guys up there, or some representatives of the county, to start looking at this stuff.
Which is fine.
Please.
We're talking about the maintenance barn.
There's two of them, yeah.
Which one?
The two concrete buildings?
The water department owns one, and then you guys own two. There's a top one and the bottom one.
Right.
I know that you sent a contractor out there last, I want to say in the spring, to start addressing the walls, but it's really the roof that needs to be fixed.
So what's happening in that building is that the roof does need to be fixed, and I think Jim and a couple of those guys got there a few years ago and retarred that roof. But the way that building is built, what's happening is the walls are part of the structural.
It's a precast concrete building. Yeah.
I used to build it.
Cracking. The walls are coming out, and I guess destabilizing the roof. And so the leaks are showing on the roof of the issues, structural ones.
Yeah, I can tell you that if we sign a long-term agreement with you guys, our plan is to, at some point, take down that top building and put up a new pre-engineered metal building. At some point, the repairs are going to be more than a new building. But again, we just want to get you guys up there so we can all be on the same page as to what really maintenance entails and what is repairs.
So I think if we are going to retain that property, I would probably say, from what I understand from engineers, and I think the repairs necessary to get that building up and running have probably already gone past the point where a replacement building is more cost effective. However, as Mr. Wilson brought up earlier, are we keeping the property or not?
To go look at the property, do we need any special equipment up there, a lift or anything like that?
You can see the damage or the issues from the ground. And just walking in the buildings, it's apparent where there's leaks. You can see the structural issues along the perimeters of the walls.
I would submit, set up a time with staff, and whatever commissioners can make it would come up, would join.
We'd appreciate that. We want to work with you on this.
So Lester and I, probably Chris will probably come up there, and then to let you know when that's going to be. I'm trying to avoid times when you guys have other things going on, and we'll try to get set up.
And are you thinking next week or?
I'm thinking sooner rather than later. Hopefully I can go from the same time.
Yep.
And I do have a question. Did you see the reports from McKinstry that detailed the building, the condition, and what was wrong with it, what needed to be fixed?
I did not see the report, but I spoke with them when they were up there.
Because we can look at those as well as a refresher.
Yeah, I mean, that building does have a number of issues for it to be usable in the way that PSC needs to be usable. But the biggest thing is that structural piece.
Sure.
I mean, I do this for a living and I'm scared to send our people up there, but we have to utilize it right now. The only other maintenance agreement question I have for you guys is we sent some people to the Rocky Mountain Lift Association conference in Grand Junction a couple weeks ago. Our risk management people were there. One of the issues that came up is just having access from run to run for our ski patrol to be able to go from, let's say, the Randioti to Tejano. Currently, there's some roads up there, but you can't ski with the toboggan from one road to the other, or from one road to the other. In the past, you've given us permission to do maintenance as far as taking down little trees and stuff that needs to be done. There is one cut that we would like to make between Upper Grandioti and Tejano that would allow ski patrol to go from one to the other. Probably 60, 65 feet in length, maybe 20 feet wide. No big no huge trees, but there would be some little trees and a little bit of grading that had to be done.
Yeah, that's doable. County has a whole tree chipper we can bring up there. I can check on the schedule because now we're into fire mitigation season. I don't know when we can bring it up there.
We have one we can use too.
Okay. Do you guys, well, and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah, and I'll mark it up on a map and show it to you. Email it to you.
Very good.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
No more appointments, land use,
Nothing for those.
action items.
Commissioners, what's on register number 24-22, permission appointing Frank Kirkpatrick to the Huerfano County Development Authority for a term expiring December 31st, 2025.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 24-22. Resolution appointing Frank Kirkpatrick to the Huerfano County Building Authority for a term expiring on December 31st, 2025.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Joe,
Yes.
and Commissioner.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next have resolution number 24-23, motion establishing and adopt a roadway program. We discussed it a little bit in our study session, and we're going to add in sections, the clarification that the county will provide orange trash bags and vests, possibly from CDOT. We can require them from them or through our own process or means, sunscreen, leather gloves, and grabbers, as well as adding caution about dead animals and about the natural hazards of roadways in Huerfano County working on them. Did I catch everything that we discussed?
I think that's.
Yeah, I think so. The
And
Doug's
the-
training with the,
Updating the link.
Yeah, we'll just double check the shop training.
I think I should approve resolution 24-23. The adopt a roadway program, with those changes that we specified.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Just from my personal, my opinion, I would rather see the changes written before adopting something than adopting it with changes to come. That's just my opinion.
Which we can absolutely do if you guys want that.
Yeah, you got it.
But I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
You guys want to amend that motion to come back to it next
To
meeting?
come back, yeah, that would be good. Change my motion to do that for next week.
You
Second.
accept that? I have a motion and a second to bring this back next week with the changes as identified for consideration by the board. All right?
Yes.
Call for the vote.
Sorry. Commissioner Bennett?
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier?
Yes.
Commissioner Bush?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Commissioners, next I have for you a request to accept an award for Department of Local Affairs Strong Communities Planning Grant in amount of $126,000. Project is to adopt recommended strategies from the Innovative Housing Opportunity Planning Project, which is equipped to complete in the near future. The The strategies we will examine and work to adopt include development of revolving loan funds, and other housing incentives, revisions to land use code, and updates to GPID regulations.
Make a motion to accept the award of the Dola Strong Community Planning Grant in the amount of $126,000.
Second that.
I have a motion, a second. Discussion. Thank you for your work on this. You guys, good job. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Jett,
Yes.
Chair LaHousha.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you a application for a special events permit for the Pandora Speaker.
Ken Clayton, 711 Panadero Loop, representing PSC.
Could you,
We are in good standing, we did turn pay. We were cutting it close, but we made it work and we got signs posted. He paid and we good to go.
could you describe for us the event, please?
Yeah, so let me back up a little bit before going there. We've been in front of you guys for almost a year and a half, or I have now, talking about how we want to do events up at the park. And so this year we've hired a special events coordinator out of our own pockets. You know, we do have a couple fundraisers over the summer, but most of this is just going to be events to get people onto the park and up there, so they have some activities on the weekends. Last week we did a Cucharo's Gone to the Dogs event. We had probably 200 people show up, maybe 100 dogs, some friendly, not so friendly, but everyone had a good time and everyone went home with a bunch of PSC gear. On Father's Day, we're going to do a cook-off, and we just wanted to be able to sell beer with the cook-off. We've got I submitted a document showing the area, how we're going to control it. We have wall security who we've used in the past out of Pueblo coming down to do security, but we just want to keep getting people to the park.
I have a question for the clerk. Do we need to have approval by the sheriff for any of this?
So I already reached out to the sheriff and he has also told me that events in the past, they've had no bad reports and also that he did not need to be notified prior.
Yeah, and in the past, we were able to get a deputy up there, but now we just go with the security because they can't do it anymore.
Yeah, so in the resolution that was passed prior to the special events, the resolution does state that they are responsible, whoever's holding a special event, for hiring the security.
But does it set parameters for how many security, for how many people attending it or anything?
It does not.
Yeah, and so last year, we actually brought in two. We made the decision internally for a big event to bring in 2 security guards versus the one that it states in the application. Or it just says bring security. So in the past, we've hired 1 for a big event. We know better, we bring 2 just in case. And we have 1 for this next 15th.
What's the anticipated attendance? I know it's hard, but just to guess.
We'd be lucky if we get 15 dads up there grilling, but it's just an event.
Just a note, so you can apply for several events on one permit, so you don't have to come back again and again.
Do we not have to pay the $100 for every event though?
No, that's not correct. It's 1 permit per event. So on there, it's the days. Event
Oh, I
days.
see.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
the only,
for 1 day.
and the only one we had scheduled, I'm gonna be back in a week to do July 6th, our event there, but we just did the one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Sure.
I just want to add to it, I was able to attend their board meeting that they had late in the evening from 8 to 9:15. And is that the same event coordinator that did the?
Yes, yeah.
She was phenomenal and well prepared and had awesome things going for this last week. So exciting things to come. I think it was well organized and well executed. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I have one other comment before you do this. On the county website, when there's in the Park and Rec department, there is a link to fill out an application to reserve the park. It goes to Lester. I was emailing back and forth with Lester. He doesn't feel, he thinks it should come to us so we keep one calendar. Can we get you a generic events at Panadero or Cuchara Mountain Park email to put on your website that comes to us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that reminds me, I didn't talk to you about the race event, because I think we figured out what happened there.
We've had no communication from him. Zero.
I got an email last week, and that's why
I also got an email.
Yeah, he has, I know about the event because he's requesting to use our parking lot for the POA, which they are not allowing camping this year. And as we all know, the park doesn't allow camping. With Bear and Blue Lake closed, there's nowhere to camp up there. We would prefer not to allow camping in the park. But, you know, our POA is providing parking to him, but not until 4 in the morning and not past midnight on that Saturday. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we'll follow up on that as well.
Okay, anything else? What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the special events permit. Okay, my,
Second,
I have a motion and a second to approve the special event permit for Panadero Ski Corp for June 16th. Any other discussion? Over the vote, please.
Commissioner Bennett,
yes,
Commissioner Spillier,
yes,
Chairman Livingston.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
thank you.
Commissioner, just have a letter of support for skill for the behavioral health region 2.
Yeah, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of background. So Signal is an applicant through the Colorado Attorney General's office on the opioid funding. And they have asked for statewide authority, and this is a letter of support from Region 2 to the AG's office. I believe. Oh, Behavioral Health Administration, which is going to get the funding from the AG's office. So this is a letter of support for a statewide operation for Signal.
Motion to approve the letter of support for Signal Behavior Health Network.
second that.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion? Thank you guys for that. I appreciate that. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes,
Commissioner Bennett.
Here.
Chairman Livingston.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, next I have for you a letter of support for the Colorado Pacific and Rio Grande Railroad for a consolidated rail infrastructure and safety improvements grant program. U.S. Department of Transportation.
motion to accept the consolidated rail infrastructure and safety improvements program letter of support.
Second. A motion, a second, discussion. So this is a $28 million Chrissy grant for this one, and those improvements are going to be primarily on Levita Pass. And on the other side of the valley where the burn scar was, you know, a bunch of replacements to do. And I would just another note on this, the guy that is doing this, there's an article on him in the Colorado Sun. It's a New York billionaire looking to change agriculture in Colorado. Get an opportunity to check out that article. It's excellent on what he's doing. Motion is second, call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Bennett,
Yes,
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes,
Chairman Livingston.
Yes.
Commissioners, next I have for you a personal service agreement between the county sheriff's office and D Alliance registered nurse. This is part of the JBBS program.
motion to approve the healthcare provider service agreement for Huerfano County Sheriff's Office for the first day of July 2024 between Huerfano County Sheriff's Office and D Lions RN.
I second that.
I have a motion, a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Reuter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nevada,
Yes.
Commissioner Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, let's have the purchase terms between the Sheriff's Office and Cecilia Salazar. Our candidate.
Make a motion to approve the contract MOU between the Sheriff of Wolfson County and Cecilia Salazar.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? These are all, both of these are funded through the JBBS program. That's correct. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Nevada,
Yes.
Commissioner Reuter,
Yes.
Commissioner Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioner, let's have here a green sheet for Walter Morales in the Treasurer's Office. This will be an increase from $33,100 to $37,000. Requested by the county treasurer. As much as I do believe that this increase is merited, I have concerns about the budget and about when we should be giving raises as a general practice considering our budget situation.
Recommendation?
Recommend that we defer to the county budget.
I agree. That's all thoughts on that.
I need some kind of motion.
Motion to table this for later considerations.
Added in the county budget process.
Second to the amended motion.
Have a second. A motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Did you hear him? Okay.
So I agree. I would like to see a more consistent approach to all of the raises and salary adjustment. So thank you. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Nevada,
Yes.
Commissioner Reuter,
Yes.
Chairman Lucia.
Yes.
Motion passes. We just have a professional things group between the county and Natasha Ruffschneller.
Motion to approve the employment contract MOU between the Sheriff of Huerfano County and Natasha Reichschneider, certified addiction specialist.
Second that.
Yeah, motion and a second. Discussion. So this is also JBBS funded and required by JBBS, correct? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Reuter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nevada,
Yes.
Chairman Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next I have for you another purchase agreement between the county sheriff and Nancy Windsor, JBS coordinator. This is again funded by the JBS program.
Make a motion to approve the public contract between the county sheriff and Nancy Windsor, RM, JBS, PBS coordinator.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Nevada,
Yes.
Commissioner Reuter,
Yes.
Chairman Bush.
Yes.
Next, I have here the professional service agreement for the employment of legal counsel between the County Department of Social Services and Caitlin A. Young LLC. Attorney at law with Caitlin A. Young LLC.
Motion to approve the professional service agreement between Caitlin Young and Huerfano County DHS.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Just a question. Didn't the state change this to Department of Human Services instead of Social Services? I mean, I don't know that it's a big deal.
I thought so. I wasn't certain. I think, I'm gonna verify that with Heather and make sure. We'll be the only department we have that cannot decide on its name, but, would like to have that sort of policy services as well, but
Okay. And it just, for public information, so there's an introductory rate to help her get up to speed with some of the cases. And then she takes over with a regular rate, which is,
8,000.
8,000. So $6,500, for June, July, and August, and it goes to $8,000 per month. And that's, we anticipate that to be 30 hours a week on that. So it's a pretty good deal, I think, for us. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier.
Yeah.
Commissioner Evans.
Yes.
Chairman Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a request from, DHS. She looked from, to purchase a Verticom system to replace their phone systems. The total amount is a one-time fee of $2,196.30 and a monthly charge of $634.99.
How does this compare to what we pay now?
I do not believe that there is a cost what we have now. However, the DHS system has not worked for at least a year. It's been off and on. They've had tons of CenturyLink techs come out there and try to look at it to try to fix it. It's been a bit of a nightmare for them.
She said in her last meeting that they've spent, I want to say 10,000, was it, in repairs to the old system in a year.
Wow.
So I think it would be less to do a new system just based on the repairs they're paying for. What was 10 or was it 12?
I think it was closer to 12, right?
Yeah.
She said 11 something. They made a decision, we got to figure it out.
Thank you. Pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve the GoBangs Vericom phone system proposal for DHS.
I said that.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier.
Yes.
Commissioner Evans.
Yes.
Chairman Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes. Motion next have the Help America Vote Act grant application request. There are accessibility and security improvements to the courthouse necessary for the Kirkland County Court's office to better facilitate the election process and be in compliance with the changes regarding election procedures that can be funded through the HAVA grant, Help America Vote Act grant, for which the Colorado Secretary of State recommended the county apply. We have determined necessary projects in 3 different areas: courthouse door locks, courthouse cameras, and concrete work in the courthouse parking lot. The first 2 projects have combined quotes through Convergent equaling $81,794.53, and we're waiting on an estimate for the concrete work. The application is due by May 31st, 2024.
How much is the grant for and what's the match?
So what I'm saying is this is a 100% grant. So basically, it's one of these grants. Whenever you get grants from not a governor's office agency, they tend to play a little bit looser with the match rules. But our understanding is 100%, but it's really determined based on what they award us.
Is correct, and I'd like to thank Carl and Robert for really hard on this and helping us get this going.
I'll make motion to accept the Help America Vote Act grant application.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Evans.
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier.
Yes.
Chairman Bush.
Yes.
Motion passes. Commissioners, next I have for you a request to apply for the Public Local Affairs Local Planning Capacity Grant to help the county advance housing projects and coordinate other local governments and community relations to develop a housing framework. The proposed project budget is $145,000, of which $116,000 coming from Department of Affairs, and the county will contribute $29,000. The county's match will come from the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Funds will be used to hire funds to help advance projects, as well as for a possible part-time employee to assist with coordination.
Motion to approve the application for a Dolo local planning capacity grant in the amount of $116,000 with the county match of $20,000.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spooner,
Yes.
Commissioner Jennings,
Yes.
Chairman Wood,
Yes.
motion passes. And that is the end of actions.
You have a report for us?
I do, Commissioners, I've submitted a full report for this meeting, for the last meeting, part of the meeting for that, and a PDF issue that won't convert, that didn't announce that until we're in the meeting. I've changed the format a little bit to go over roles and positions that the county has, most notably in my head, is emergency manager, which goes on this Friday. We're also hiring for a child welfare caseworker one and possible maker, a communications officer for our dispatch personnel, a secretary for the sheriff's office, and of course, we keep open the job descriptions for deputy officer and detention officer, which the sheriff's office, I believe, has 1 or 2 vacancies in each of those. And all job openings, duties, qualifications are posted on the county website. The links included there. Let's send it to a friend. As far as notes to the board, just the high level ones. We'll have a city county town meeting at 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, June 11th. In the park.
Will there be an agenda developed for that meeting?
So I have a list of topics from our end: Parks and Recreation, public safety, communication. I suspect there will be some additional stuff from the city and towns, but I'm going to circulate to Heather and Roger my draft agenda and see if you want to type anything else.
Okay, so my advice would be to you be the one that develops the formal agenda and send it to them and make them or ask them to post it as per their requirements for public meetings.
And just to let everyone know, that will be the only Tuesday I was planning to be virtual, so I will be present.
That is not acceptable.
I know.
Yeah.
Hi.
But you'll have the meeting analysts set up and you want to get in the room.
Thank you.
And for the Mace County application, tentatively scheduled for June 25th. I know that we had special meeting the 11th, and Amos said that he couldn't be here on the 11th, so shooting for the 25th of June. And we're also working on a ribbon cutting for the solar systems and the energy from contracting project generally. The solar is on for all the facilities except social services. That one I expect to be on in the next week or so. We're trying to see if we can find a way to get that project in with the low income tax credit bonus. The other systems have received. That one just didn't make the cut in Department of Energy to get in there. So everything else is included in that report.
We do not have an county attorney report. Okay, correspondence.
Commissioners, first I have for you the intersection newsletter from Senator Rock Cotton. Next I have the noxious weeds April monthly report and the Gordon Bridge March April monthly report. Then I have for you your lead balances as of May 18th, 2024. The CTS activity update on suggested risk management, jail intake and suicide prevention guidelines, which we can circulate to the sheriff's office. And a CTS activity update on federal child labor regulations.
Executive session, no need. Okay, I would like to take this opportunity to let the public know that it is my intent to resign as Huerfano County Commissioner effective July 3rd of this year, for several reasons. One of them is my health, but one of them is to allow a new commissioner to the opportunity to set in and maybe make some quality choices that would help people with the vote in November, however they go. There's still some work that I have to do before I can officially submit my resignation to the county clerk, but know that my intent is to have everything in place to have July 3rd as my last day for Huerfano County Commission. So, is there anything else for the good of the order?
I do have an item. We have a proposed green sheet for Elizabeth Kohler. She has been with the county before and is moving back from a part-time status to a full-time status with a salary of $41,516.
Which department?
This is going to be for dispatch. Well, emergency service. So, if there's no objections, I'd like to make a motion to approve this green sheet.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Chair Bush,
Yes.
motion passes.
Anything else for the good? What you guys were coming here. You came.
Yes.
came-
We wanted to speak with you about that structure in Gardner. Do you want me to go up there?
Yeah, do you want to do this in public meeting?
Sure,
Okay,
that's
please.
fine.
If the commissioners are okay, we'll accept additional public comment. Rain, would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Okay. Lorraine Vargas, 664 County Road, 575, Gardner, Colorado. And what I wanted to discuss is right now, in the middle of the Gardner Community Center parking lot is an outhouse. And next to a picnic table. Now, I had thought outhouses were outlawed, but obviously not. And I don't know if it's exactly an outhouse or a porta potty, but it's not connected to the septic. And I was wondering, since this is a $50,000 outhouse, if it could just be removed, or if it has to stay there, it's just, I don't think it's even sanitary, because here's the picnic table, here's the outhouse right next to it. Is there running water in there? Probably not. I didn't stop to check, but there isn't, I'm sure. It's just an outhouse. And I think it should be removed. And if you insist on putting an outhouse, move it away from the picnic table. And if not, connect it to the septic, to where there's running water for the public. I mean, what good is it to use an outhouse and then not even be able to wash your hands? I want all of you to just go look at it and see if it's acceptable.
So if I may, first, it's a vault toilet, not an outhouse. And so they use these all over in the national forests, and a lot of them. We have one up at Kachara Mountain Park that we've had there for 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Okay,
So
do
would
they
they have
get
it
pumped
leak?
out?
They have pardon?
Do they get pumped out?
They do.
Okay, tell me, how good is that? Having a septic truck there pumping it out while there's somebody trying to eat a sandwich. That's gross.
But it happens, and it happens all over this forest. It
Oh,
happens
but
at
we're not
nature
in the
state
forest,
park.
we're in Gardner. I could see it in the forest.
It happens at Lathrop State Park. This is not a
Oh,
forest.
that's a park too, but this is not a park, this is a parking lot for the community center.
I think the important thing to note is there was community planning and involvement to see where they wanted this to be located. There's additions that will go on to this, so it's not just gonna be a toilet and a picnic table. There's future additions. It is common to have a vault toilet. They are pumped out. It is, thought to be sanitary. If you go to Lathrop State Park where the beach is, you have a vault toilet right next to the picnic table. So I get where you're coming from, but there was a lot of topic and discussion about where it was to be located. And then we had to do additional work to it. So that topic came up again in the last few weeks. And it was planned to be there intentionally so people could
Well,
eat,
everyone
get
I
to-
talked to said they didn't want it there.
That's
I
not true.
talked to Electra,
Sure.
and she said she had no idea they were gonna put it there. They wanted it closer to the arena.
They planned it a first time, we asked them a second time, and we also discussed it again in last month's potluck. So there's been lots of talks about relocating it or not, but there are future additions that will make it nice. And
But the future additions are gonna be right there,
they will be.
Yeah, they were
right next to it.
Mhm.
all around it.
So it's what are the future additions?
A dog park, some sort of green space.
Mhm.
There's also further expansions to the recreation area as well. Those are going further away, but the main thing around there is the event space / dog park.
I can't hear you. What did you say?
An event space / dog park. Raymond Area Community Center Board is the folks that the county has entrusted to advise on that facility. Might be good for you to come to a meeting and speak to them, Myra, Trujillo, Danielle.
resigned.
Okay,
Mickey D'Ambrosio.
Mickey D'Ambrosio, a few other folks are on that board.
Or his wife. Martinez.
Oh, and what good would it do me to go talk to them?
Well, you can.
What did
once
you
you
say, a
consider-
dog park?
Yes.
What? Dog park.
It's-
So you could pull off the road, use the restroom, walk your dog, eat some lunch, and then be on your way, and not have to walk a large distance from the parking lot for those that may not be, fit to walk far.
Also add that some of the concerns why there wasn't plumbing put in there is because of the vandalism that has happened to the existing toilet that's in the rear.
It was never vandalized. What happened was it froze and then they quit using it.
I wasn't here, so I don't know if I've heard.
I know. Because that's been years ago and it just froze and they quit using it. And it would have been nice if they would just fix those. And a dog park right there, that doesn't even make sense either. Right there in front of the community center.
Again, this,
I mean, when they're having events and people, what, if you take all that space, where are they gonna park?
so there's plans to expand the parking, but again, the place to have the discussion is that the community center board meeting. They're the ones that advise the county commissioners on this, and that's where public input is really and truly taken on what's gonna come up. They're working off a master plan from 2011.
2014.
2014.
Again, yeah, so they are working on a master plan and they're sort of deciding as things go, what phases happen and how they happen. They are, I believe, still seeking new members. It's a great way to get involved in the community.
Well, when I spoke with Electra, she was saying something about a gas station or gas pumps anyway, but not right there.
So,
And a convenience store, but not right there, like more towards the arena.
respectfully, Electra's the contractor that the county hired to do a plan. She's not a member of any deciding body related to this, to that community center property.
Well, she was supposed to do all the planning.
She completed that work last June.
She what?
Completed that work last June. She's completed her scope of work with
Oh,
the
she
county.
completed her job
Mhm.
last June.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
So now
the
who's in charge?
Raymond Area Community Center Board was in charge before and they're in charge going forward.
Well, and I also spoke to Nikki and she said that that wasn't her idea, that it was a commissioner's. And it was the county.
Well, Mickey
So-
volunteered and ultimately, the decision is ultimately the right one too, does rely on the county commissioners and myself, but, we do a lot of the advice of those volunteers.
Well, I figured it wouldn't do me any good to come in and speak with everybody, but I think it's just.
I'll
I
let
mean,
you
say you put, what were you intending to add on to that? What?
So I can tell you, Lorraine, that I'm with you. I didn't like the location of that, but in looking back at the master plan, so there was no vault toilet planned in the master plan, but that area was supposed to be for a welcome center and a dog park and some other things there. The vault toilet works out well in that environment. I still don't like it exactly where it is. I agree. It should have been closer to the arena so it could be used for events at the community center and events at the arena. It still can be. It's just a little bit farther from the arena. But
Being that
it's
you're
a-
right in Gardner, shouldn't it be connected to the septic and have water?
no, we had a discussion
Somebody has
about
to
that.
wash their hands.
There's the option. I think it has the hand sanitizer in it.
Or then stay there.
It's going to stay there.
Okay,
But for what it's worth, I'll be with you.
yeah.
That's it. Joining that board, or at least coming to a meeting would be a good thing. I think it sounds like you care a lot about the community, and that's what everyone wants on that board. They care about the community as well and want to see that facility be the best it can be. So I think it'd be wonderful if you would consider coming to a meeting or volunteering some time.
Well, I keep missing them. I was supposed to get emails and I haven't.
If you can give me your information, I'll make sure that we get you on that list.
Do you want me to put it right here?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Give you a pen.
Dale, were you trying to say something?
Well, they should come to the community center board meetings and then like the last Wednesday of the month. And Lisa, Gary and I are newly appointed to that committee. And Mickey and other people are on it. I can't remember everybody's name, but come to our meetings. And I think there might even be an opening on the board.
Well, it's a little late for that, but I probably will try to go to the meetings.
What happened was it was not placed correctly in the
No.
beginning.
No, it
And when
doesn't. Why?
because when they put it in, it was wet and they thought it would sink and it didn't sink. So that made it ADA inaccessible. So we had to pull it up, redig the hole and resink it.
Yeah.
And we
Why
thought
is
about
that there?
moving it at that point. And we had a meeting and the whole group decided we were gonna leave it where it was. Wasn't that what happened? If my memory serves me, we went out to the site, we decided, we talked about not having the dog park between the picnic table and the outhouse. That really wasn't the right place for a dog park. It would be better off where the dirt was. And in that space between the picnic table and the outhouse is gonna be, there's been grants applied for to put maps of the trails in the area that people could take advantage of. And it's kind of a hyperloop map where you could press a button and it lights up the trails. It was a grant applied for, and other things like that between the picnic table and the vault toilet. That was the idea of that space.
Yeah, well, it's in process, and when a lot of these items come into place, it'll make more sense after some of the other things. So it is a process, and it'll look better and make more sense later. But it is a process that we're going through.
Well, and this dog park, you are going to put it someplace where there is dirt.
That would be the logical place to put the dog park.
Well, of course, you don't want all that
And
hatred.
people could walk their dogs over to where the dirt is. It's not that far. If they're very dark, dog parents. So that was discussed at that meeting where we all walked outside.
Okay, and is that all that's gonna be right there?
So.
I mean, is that it? That's gonna be right there because, I mean, you also need pretty good access for people to park for events at the center, right?
So I don't want to promise you that's all it's gonna be right there. They're gonna be more or less because the committee hasn't decided on what they'd like. They haven't on the final layout of things for that area. We discussed the dog park Dale's right. We did put the dog park there. They talked about moving it over to the fence, but until they complete their decision-making process, it's still sort of fluid.
Plus, it depends on how quickly the co-op acts and how elaborate their plans get for a gas station, convenience store, or propane sales, what they do.
Okay, but there will be accessible access to the center for parking.
Yes.
I mean, nothing's gonna get all the way, you know, you said you're adding stuff to the toilet and past that. But not that much stuff or what?
It's the
There will be
plan.
parking.
Yeah, the plan we discussed, basically where that total wall is, where the pavilion is, it's sitting up towards the wall, toilet and around that. So there'll still be access there.
Oh,
What exactly goes in between and how that looks still up in the air, but that's the plan, is that to be an area of green space.
access on the other side right there where that little entrance is.
Yeah, so people can park both on that side and on the other side, and then there's a plans for additional parking around the arena, but that's again, depending on plans that we haven't seen yet.
So more conversation with maps and things happens at the community center board meetings.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to participate. We'll get your information and make sure that you're getting invitation to those meetings.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Elaine.
Thank you.
We do appreciate you coming. Thanks.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
I have a motion and a second. Anybody opposed? We're adjourned.